Hello, everybody. It's Pastor Creed coming to you again with this week's Sunday School overview. We will be in lesson number 10, A Fiery Marvel, Three Men in the Fiery Furnace. And this will be, of course, about from the book of Daniel, about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego as they get thrown into the fiery furnace. So let us begin in God's word from Daniel 3. King Nebuchadnezzar made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and its breadth 6 cubits. He set it up on the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then King Nebuchadnezzar sent to gather the satraps, the prefects, and the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the province to come to the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then the satraps, the prefects, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the justices, the magistrates, and all the officials of the province gathered for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And the herald proclaimed aloud, "You are commanded, O peoples, nations, and languages, that when you hear the sound of the horn, the pipe, the lyre, the trigon, the harp, the bagpipe, and every kind of music, you are to fall down and worship the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be cast into a burning fiery furnace." Therefore, as soon as all the people heard the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music, all the peoples, nations, and languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Therefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came forward and maliciously accused the Jews. They declared to King Nebuchadnezzar, "O king, live forever. You, O king, have made a decree that every man who hears the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast into a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom you have appointed over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, pay no attention to you. They do not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar, in furious rage, commanded that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought. So they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said to them, "Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the golden image that I have set up? Now, if you are ready when you hear the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music, to fall down and worship the image that I have made, well and good. But if you do not worship, you shall immediately be cast into the burning fiery furnace. And who is the God who will deliver you out of my hands?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If this be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury, and the expression of his face was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times more than it was usually heated. And he ordered some of the mighty men of his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their cloaks, their tunics, their hats, and their other garments, and they were thrown into the burning fiery furnace, because the king's order was urgent, and the furnace overheated. The flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell bound into the burning fiery furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished and rose up in haste. He declared to his counselors, "Did we not cast 3 men bound into the fire?" They answered and said to the king, "True, O king." He answered and said, "But I see 4 men, unbound, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the appearance of the 4th is like the son of the gods." Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the door of the burning fiery furnace. He declared, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here." Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out from the fire, and the satraps, the prefects, the governors, and the king's counselors gathered together and saw that the fire had not had any power over the bodies of those men. The hair of their heads was not singed, their cloaks were not harmed, and no smell of fire had come upon them. Nebuchadnezzar answered and said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants, who trusted in him, and set aside the king's command and yielded up their bodies rather than serve and worship any god except their own God." Therefore I make a decree: any people, nation, or language that speaks anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be torn limb from limb, and their houses laid in ruins. For there is no other God who is able to rescue in this way. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Now, as we look to this lesson, we see a familiar account that many of us know, but it may be the first time your kids are hearing about it in class. So, spend a little time kind of unpacking what this is really about. And we can see the law gospel component of this lesson as we go through it. The law is, in sin. We choose what makes the world and our flesh and the devil happy. Unlike the faithful Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we often do bow down and for convenience sake, for the sake of our own, health or safety or status, we will bend the knee to the false prophets and gods, just for convenience sake, to make ourselves happy. But the gospel is, through word and sacrament, God sustains us in our troubles and assures us of life with Him forever. That He is with us, and that no matter what trials and fiery furnaces we face, God is with us throughout all of it. And that is the Bible truth for this lesson, that God is with us. And a good lesson, a good verse to memorize for the kids is Psalm 46:7. The Lord of hosts is with us; the God of Jacob is our fortress. And so, if you look here on the screen, you'll see our catechism connection. It is the first commandment. You shall have no other gods. What does this mean? We should fear, love, and trust in God above all things. Obviously, the connection there is the faithful Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would not worship the false gods, would not bend the knee and bow down to the golden image of Nebuchadnezzar, even if it meant that their lives would be taken from them. They trusted that God would either deliver them or He wouldn't, but whatever it was God's will, and that they would abide by that. And we are to be so bold in our faith and proclamation of the true God in the face of a world that does not believe in Him and wants us to bow down to false ideas and images. Now, kind of an overview of this. Despite King Nebuchadnezzar's directive to bow before his golden statue, the three faithful Israelites ignored the order, and so in a burning rage, the king orders Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be tossed into the flaming furnace, heated 7 times hotter than usual. To his astonishment, the four men appear in the furnace, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego emerge unharmed, not even smelling of fire. And so, realizing the power of God, Nebuchadnezzar promotes these faithful men and praises the true God, and understands that it is now God, their God, that has the true power in this world. As far as our identity and calling go, Christ promises to protect all who remain faithful to Him and His Word, and so we trust God to protect us from the sinful schemes of mankind. He will rescue us from every pain and every plan of the evil one. Through His Son, Jesus Christ. That is where our rescue lies. Now, for the early childhood, they need to know that God is with them, and to understand that God is with them wherever they go. And for the older kids, they need to know that, but it can identify how God is with them and relate God's presence with the 3 young men in their trials that we just read about to His presence with them in their own trials in this life. So I hope this overview helped as you study and prepare for this week's lesson about the fiery furnace. Thank you for everything that you do for us here at Bethlehem, and have a blessed day.